Hi, my name is Krzysztof and I'm lead writer and co-designer of ISS Vanguard. Today we have a short video diary prepared for you. There will be no mechanical or gameplay deep dives, but there are some interesting points I wanted to talk about. In the last GameFound update we told you we are about to start full campaign tests of ISS Vanguard. Now, 3 weeks later, the tests are almost over. Even though the testers played more than 20 planetary exploration and ship managements, they are still to see some of the planets or to play the final mission, even though they unlocked it. They really enjoyed the game, but the thing that surprised them most was the amount and variety of content they found while traveling through the galaxy. Now, our first estimations of ISS Vanguard playtime took into account the fact that if you have 20 planets and each mission should take 2 to 3 hours, it should take you around 50 hours to see all of the content, right? Well, it turns out this estimation did not account for many things. A lot of planets in ISS Vanguard have optional missions, optional locations, or even entire optional areas that you may unlock or access. Many of them give you a secondary objective card that you keep in your bridge card holder to remind you that, for example, on this planet we left an underwater biome unexplored, and on this planet we still failed to open these doors and we may return there when we are more experienced. As a result, some of ISS Vanguard planets have seen up to 8 hours of playtime. That's as much as some smaller games have on their own. And we found that testers enjoyed the content so much they usually did want to complete those side objectives and they wanted to clear planets. The good news is how long you play is largely up to you, because you also have your main objective card in the bridge card holder, and it always points to one specific action you need to take to push the story forward. And if you do focus on pushing the story forward, we do believe that the minimum playtime estimate would be around 20 to 30 hours. But now, having seen the full game in action, we believe that most groups will actually use much more time than that. This brings me to a fun little detail. Our main objective when designing ISS Vanguard was to create an ambitious co-op narrative game that would also have a very clear and very engaging and very tactile core gameplay mechanic. So even though we spent a lot more time on gameplay development in ISS Vanguard than in any of our previous co-op games, we still didn't want to take any steps back in the narrative department. And I think the best example of that is ISS Vanguard's ending. If you remember, Tainted Grail campaigns, they had those big modular endings that changed to represent what you did or achieved during the campaign, and they were made of around 20 to 30 modules that combined in various ways. With ISS Vanguard, as it stands now, the ending consists of over 70 modules, and even though some of them are fairly short, some of them are long scenes with choices to make and with various interesting consequences. These scenes also make heavy use of our NPCs, of characters that you gathered aboard Vanguard as you travel through space. And you may reach the end of the campaign with different sets of these characters, and this also influences the endings you get. Some of those characters are really colorful, and we can't wait to hear the lines recorded by professional voice actors.
Vanguard, this is Away Team. We are en route to the designated landing zone. All systems nominal. Uplink stable.
But enough about story and content. I also wanted to say a few words about the main topic of our previous GameFound update, the ISS Vanguard shipbook. And while it is true that some shipbook procedures are now a bit shorter or less complex than there were in previous versions, All these changes were made in cooperation with Paul Grogan. They were tested over 20 ship managements during our full campaign tests, and we are certain they do work and flow better than previous shipbook did. And what's important is none of the actual content was removed from the shipbook. You still have the same amount of projects to research, you still have the same story scenes that trigger, and overall the player's experience with the new shipbook was very good. And we only have some small fixes and some tuning to do. This is good news because this means that ISS Vanguard shipbook is on track to be ready for release somewhere in the second half of November. So I think in second half of the November we should be able to show you a full shipbook PDF with final rules and with final illustrations for you to discuss. So there you have it. This is the state of ISS Vanguard right now. Throughout the rest of October and throughout November we will be testing the full completed ISS Vanguard campaign with many other teams of testers of various size and of various level of experience. We are also going to fine-tune and blind test the tutorial, and we will be working on some last remaining pieces of ISS Vanguard first wave, 2 out of 3 of our standalone operations, and crew member stories and quests for the personnel files add-on. But seeing how the game performs throughout the entire campaign, we can't wait to invite you to the rich and vast galaxy of ISS Vanguard.